Hi, David. They call me MacGyver. Today I'm going to show you how to do a plumbing repair on a half-inch piece of copper pipe and do it for about 59 cents. If you called a plumber, it'd probably cost you $150, $200. But this is a way that you can actually do a patch. This happened to be a real tight situation and couldn't cut the pipe to put a replacement pipe in or anything. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. There was a one of those screw-in valves for your automatic ice maker, and apparently it started leaking. So the customer tried putting in a new valve, but when he put it in, he thinks the new clamp must have had something on it because it pushed something up on the bottom of the pipe, and so then it started leaking on the bottom. So he went and bought one of the it's epoxy tape thing where you put it on there and wrap it. That didn't seem to work either. He still had the leak, so he took all that off, and I went over to help him fix it without having to tear the whole thing apart. So hang tight, we'll get started. So there's the hole where the ice maker clamp went through, and then the bottom of it apparently got something on there when he replaced the clamp and it pushed it up on the bottom. You're going to need some emery, some solder paste, a brush, and solid solder, and then of course a torch. And I'm going to take one of these. You see, this is a slip-on splice, but it's for like putting two pipes together. It has that dimple in it. But then there's this kind where you can slide it all the way. I'm going to take one of those, put it on a half-inch dowel, and that way when I start trying to cut it, I'm not going to make the clamp oblong. It will stay the same shape because it's got that half-inch dowel on the inside of it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is you can use a multi-tool with a metal cutting blade, and because this splice is over that half-inch, as it gets hot it's going to melt, or it's going to burn some of that wood, so I don't want it to be sliding around on there. So I put a nail at the end just to keep it from sliding off the end. You can see how that is spinning even on me trying to cut it with that multi-tool. And just kind of get a line started and then kind of follow it. And you can see how I kind of angle it so that it moves it up. Try to get it, and if you keep it perfectly 90 degrees to it, it seems to stay fairly well. And when you get close and you get cut through, you'll actually, yeah, there you go. You see the wood burning? I'm actually going into the wood now. So it's cut now. I was able to cut it completely across. So I'll release this clamp that I'm holding that dowel down against that board, and I'll turn it over 180 degrees, and I'll put the clamp back on to hold that tight. And I'm going to show you a different technique. This time I'm going to use one of the Dremel tools with a little cutoff wheel on it. You see it's got a little cutoff wheel on there. And I'm sorry, I apologize for the light situation. I had to do this outside and it was already getting dark. But this cuts it fairly fast. You just start your line across there and then go back and forth a few times, and it'll cut through it pretty easy. It's done. That's how fast that is. That's actually a faster way if you have one of those little rotary tools with a cutoff wheel. So there's the two pieces, and I've got it just showing you how it will fit onto the pipe, half-inch copper pipe, and you can see where it burned that dowel a little bit. So now you'll take your emery and clean your two pieces up. You want to make sure you get that good and clean before you put the flux on it. You brush some flux in there. You want to smear it on the inside of these. You want to make sure you get flux completely covered, and that way you don't need to pile it on, just a thin coat, but you want to put it both on the pipe and on the splice as well. And you can see how tight that is. There's no way to cut that and slip that on there without cutting it the way I did. So we'll put that on there, and you got to get it the right direction put it on there. And then the flux itself will kind of hold those pieces on there. But once you start heating it up, those will just fall off there. So take a little thin piece of wire and twist it around there and hold those clamp or pieces together. So you put it on there, and then you grab yourself a little pair of pliers and you can twist that to make it tight. You don't want those falling apart once you heat it up. I'll get another piece of wire and I'll put it on the other end there. It's just real thin wire, nothing real stiff. You just need to hold it together until the solder cools. So you twist it around, put your pliers on there and twist that so it's up snug against the splice. And then I'm going to cut off all the extra. By the way, this is a Leatherman tool. I'll put a link in the description where you can get one of those. Okay, then I'm going to use my torch, and it's got a automatic start on it, and it's MAP gas. You can also use propane, but this heats it up really fast. And because I'm going to be pointing it there, I'm going to put this heat-resistant cloth here so that my torch doesn't just burn the wall up. Put a link in the description for one of those too. Then get my solid copper, and you want to put your heat on the top and let when it gets hot, the solder will suck up to it. So it's going to suck it down and suck it up. It'll completely go all over you. Just that splice between there where those two pieces were, you can feed that solder and get that blanket out of the way. You got a little bit of black on there. I'll wipe that off with a paper towel and then touch it up with paint. So we'll check it out, make sure I've got solder. You should be able to see solder around all the seams on both ends and also through the two splices. And if you see the solder there, you're good to go. So I already pressure tested it, turned the water back on, and we're good. So just gonna touch this wall up a little bit. This is actually primer. I'll put a link in the description for where you can get the solder, the flux, and also the splice. That splice is about 59 cents, so you can do this repair for pretty inexpensive. If you had to call a plumber out to fix that, it would be $150, $200 for him to come out and just do this minor little repair. Well, I'd like to thank you for watching. I will put some links in the description for the supplies that I used. Make it a little easier for you to find those. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, if you'll do that, then click the bell icon. And then every time I come out with a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks a lot for watching. You have a great day.